What's life been like since the regular season ended in terms of recruiting, game planning, transfer portal, all the stuff?
It's been good. Solid 8 hours of sleep every night, and but no, it's been fun. Exciting to continue to build our program for the future, and as you try to manage and balance prepping for this game. So, been good. So ready for it to get here.
How much does altitude or the conditions affect your game plan in terms of rotating deeper into your front seven or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, obviously the fact that we're going to be up there, I don't know the science behind, acclimating and those things. So hopefully being up there a couple of days and our guys will start to get used to it. But, yeah, I mean, I think you want to be able to play, a good 2 deep at every spot if we can, for sure.
What's kind of once you've been in practice, it kind of seems like guys are maybe having a little more fun, maybe a little more lighthearted at times than it was during the grind of the end of the regular season. Is that kind of fun to see them enjoying this last little bit of time together as you're still obviously working to try and win a game?
Yeah, we want them to be able to enjoy this process. It's some pressure on them from the standpoint of, we want to win a bowl game, and that hadn't been done in a while. So we got a great opportunity for that. But, we want them just as importantly to be able to enjoy, the opportunity to play in the game, and kind of relish this and everything that goes with it, for sure.
When you have visitors kind of coming in, and I know you can't talk about specific transfers yet, but knowing what we know, is it almost like an inherent challenge to the guys here, like, hey, here's your bowl game, by the way, just here's another opportunity to kind of make, maybe put something on tape right before we go in the off season?
Well, I mean, for sure, but you can bring those guys in, you go through the spring, and iron sharpens iron, right? So there's some positions that we maybe didn't have as much competition, and competition, the cream will rise, and it makes everybody better, and so I think with the right type of kids, they want that. They want competition at their position. They want you to bring in the best players that we can find that are interested in us, and so those things are, I think all the positive. But I think the other thing is, you try to be able to see with some of these guys that maybe hadn't played as much, that you're optimistic for the future, and like some of our young linebackers, Jaquandis and Cam, got more reps in practice, and I was really pleased with how they practiced. So that's a big thing to see for us moving forward.
Reports out of Utah make it sound like either the BYU coaches don't know, or maybe there's some gamesmanship going on as to who's going to be their quarterback, whether it's Jaron Hall or one of the backups. Do you and your defensive staff sort of build 2 different game plans depending on who you see?
Well, I don't think the offense will change a ton based on the quarterback. I think obviously one of them has got a lot of talent. We've watched all 3 quarterbacks. There was one that we recruited at the previous school that I was at, so we knew about him, and then the one that transferred from Boise State, we've watched him. So you get a feel for they all can run. All 3 of them have the ability to extend plays. So I think from that standpoint, I don't know how much the run game to me is going to be the run game, and the ability of the quarterback to obviously distribute the ball down the field, maybe more so. But I think it's one of those things that, yes, we've got a thought process more of, how aggressive are we maybe versus, different quarterbacks and how we're going to call some things. But, I don't know if I'll really have a good answer until kickoff on who we're playing, and then put the ball down and go play.
Coach has kind of made his thoughts on kind of the bowl standing alone and not really being a part of the 2022 season or the 2023 season. You talked before the Memphis game that the Memphis game, how that went, was going to kind of shape your view of this season. How do you view the bowl game, and will it kind of change any views of this season for you?
I don't know if it'll change any views. I was proud that, our kids, kind of like I told you, I wanted to see how we finished down the stretch, and that game was, the epitome of finishing on defense when, we played decent at times, kind of settled into it, and then let them get back in the game late, and then all of a sudden had to make a play to bail ourselves out, right? So, I want to see our kids, my goal would be to see our kids play hard and be excited about playing and, execute the best of our ability, but I don't know that the bowl game will change kind of how I view the totality of the season.
Not trying to get trade secrets, but in terms of scouting the other 3 quarterbacks, when they don't have a lot of college film, is it more like, hey, we'll even go back and watch high school just to get a scouting report for just what their abilities are, more than just, hey, this is what they would do in this package at BYU?
Correct. That's exactly what it is. So, and then after that, it's mere speculation on at that point. It's, hey, this kid is in the game. Here's what we think he does well. What would they utilize within their offense that would fit his skill set?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at the end of the day, they're gonna probably run their base stuff. I would think we're gonna run our stuff and go play ball.
Mm-hmm.
After your last regular season game, Coach Lashley said something about how obviously looking forward to seeing what bowl you guys got, and also healing up because of just the physical pounding everybody takes. Do you have any guys that you can update injuries on after getting a couple of weeks here to rest?
I'm trying to think. We really don't have many guys, out. So I think the majority of our guys are back. You know, there's we got one on the D line that might not be able to go. You know, and but other than that, I think we'll have every single guy back. You know, and I think it wasn't anything serious injuries on defense. It's more it's just banged up. You know what I mean? And wear and tear on some of these guys' bodies. Like you look at the D tackle snaps on the season. You look at just look at the PFF snap totals on how many snaps like Jimmy's played this season. It's, you know, we're redlining every game at some of those spots, and so we've got to get those guys back to healthy. You know, they give us the XO's numbers. You know, and green is good, and red is red line basically is how I view it. And after the game, you know, usually our D tackles are redlining, and you know, a couple of our backers are red just because of the volume of snaps I think that we play, coupled with, you know, asking them to play hard. So I think just getting them fresh and healthy and excited and getting them to the games is important as anything.
Yeah, two more.
And that coloring, that's in terms of just workload.
Correct.
Okay.
We talked about the different quarterbacks, but overall, when you look at the BYU offense, what concerns you the most about this matchup?
Well, I think, you know, what they do a really good job of is, you know, they run the ball and then they run it and then they throw it over your head. You know, there's not much, a whole lot of intermediate passing game. It's, you know, you've got big tight ends, really solid receivers, in good downhill backs. They're big up front, so you know they run wide zone and inside zone. They get on their tracks, and those backs can wind it back and hit you for 8, hit you for 10, hit you for 15, hit you for 4, and then they do that again and again, and then get a one-on-one matchup with 12 on you. The length that they have at the tight end position, and the ability to get those guys vertical as well. So we played them in 2019, and it was very similar. Coach Grimes was the OC then, who's at Baylor now, but very similar offense, and some of the same players actually still there. And they just do a good job in their system of being able to establish the run, and then you start to load that box, and then here comes your one-on-one shot.